Hello, good. Very nice. Yeah. Hello, good evening, everyone. Right, welcome to our
Or
first hybrid workshop. So we're still having some amount of technical difficulties, so for those who are hearing an echo, apologize. But yes, I saw if it is the AI generated poster to more or less describe some of what it is that we'll be going through. But of course, we're not going to only rely on AI. We're actually going to use our brains to
brains to actually think about the solution that we're going to be creating, and of course, the
impact
impact
that
that
is
is going
going
to
to
have
have
on
on
our
our nation.
nation,
And of
and of
course,
course, the Caribbean as a whole. Mhm.
need to complete.
I did. Mhm. All right, let's try again. But all right, we're going to proceed. All right. So the objectives of the community, we're going to be strengthening the development of the skills of Jamaicans. Of course, we do extend to the Caribbean, but this was originally what we had set out to do because we definitely want to build and market our skills. We want to learn and share knowledge. I want to, of course, help persons both in person and online. So yes, the computer field is wide, and we do see the value of us growing and learning together because the reality is if it were that one person built Toy Story, that person would have spent years. As a matter of fact, the person would actually die before the Toy Story is completed. But of course, with persons working together, each person adding their different skill, adding the color, adding the animation, adding the voice, adding the various elements of the animation to bring it together for Toy Story, we see where we get a final product that is, you know, comprehensive enough to entertain even adults. So raise the hand if you watch Toy Story. No, be shy. It's okay, good. Right. So I watched it and I was amazed by just the choreography, just how everything simply come together. And if you do a little research, you find out that there are actually several developers working on Toy Story, and the amount of hours that they put, we recognize that it's not something that you can simply just do on your own. So many great solutions that exist, it simply comes by persons working together, building and marketing their skills, and of course, finding ways to share that knowledge because your perspective and my perspective may be a little different. But of course, with each of us bringing our perspective together, it can definitely shape the solution into something more meaningful. All right. No. So there are several problems. Yes, there are times when companies can't find developers. Oops.
The times when companies can't find developers, the times when developers have this different, don't have all the skills necessary. So this is essentially one of the problems that we want to solve. Of course, there's the lack of awareness. Since persons have been joining the community, sharing stuff from poverty, sharing stuff from international companies, local companies. We even have persons doing some AI development activities. So essentially, there's a lot of knowledge sharing that's happening in tech space. Now, of course, this community, that's one of the things that we solve, bringing more awareness, some solutions. So that, because the reality is, if it is that we're only using old technology, if it is that we're only using things that we're familiar with and not necessarily moving and advancing as fast as we should, we can get it. That's the reality. So we don't want it to be a case where we're building a solution in one particular language because we're not aware that there's another language or a framework that is better suited for the solution that we, because there really isn't any one language or any one framework or any one database that's specific to all solutions. It depends on the problem that you solve. So bringing more awareness is definitely something interesting. Now, this is essentially what we're going to be doing for the agenda. We'll be introducing the speaker. His resume is long, but I'm going to be short and spicy because running against time, of course, in person technical study. But this is going into presentation where you'll be given an opportunity to work alongside him create some web application. All right, and of course, we can do a discussion and a wrap up. So this is this on the red. Yes, you see his resume is long. I know, right? But boy, I was just impressed by it. But of course, I'll just leave just a quick something that I think is most important. So some of us we see technology as something opposed to our religious beliefs or people who are not so comfortable with moving around the outside space or what Christopher the good Christian and he's still passionate about technology nonetheless and bringing solutions, building empires, working with local and international companies. So without further ado, if you want to know more about this girl, pretty sure it's not opposed to asking questions, but yeah, there are other things about this girl. Isabel, what's you? Right. Everybody has actually on their laptop. Yeah. That's very important. Some people are joining online right now. Some people are joining online and just waiting for that data here. This? No, yes, it's but we won't be able to see is just I can share a presentation from here. Yeah, who needs to write that? Yeah, allow me to share. On Zoom. Google Service and about almost.
You can share now. You can share on Zoom now.
Okay, so just giving a very short introduction to what Christians covers. I do want to validate it first. It was suggested to me that I should be able to make more money with but it's not my interest.
Yes,
Wow. Oh. All right. If those of you who are not interested in that, it's going to be very weird. But for those of you who are interested in the quick question for the organizers is how long do I have to be attend?
Yeah.
Perfect. It's going to be engaging our that's like a promise. So my name is Chris Grillo. I hope you're hearing on Zoom. I lead web development about Accelerate. Been in the industry for 7+ years at the company, and I've been coding. Then very nice introduction. And what we'll be looking at today is what's the difference? So a bunch of questions. What makes a business? How to consult? Unnecessary mistakes. And you're going to find that there's an easy to follow structure with my slides. Where it's follow and you'll be able to take pictures or ask questions, grow. I can promise you this can be or for it to be engaging since there are 9 of us. Let me just name that. Counting around. What's your stuff? Start from the, person. Okay, this is, oh, sound like a lot, sound like a lot. That's very cool. Done, done. Good lawyer, yeah. Okay, what's your views? You already used any thought? Way down, freedom, novel, there. That's. So, okay, I'm ready. Interesting. What do you?
So, I think we'll look at right. So this one is going to the old one.
Yes. So no design, not so much design, but like building on the rest. So, fine. I am Brahma. I know you also so like we have to do. So, I'm not like getting like I'm more interested in machine learning, like automation, and stuff like that. But what design is like our goal like machine learning and what design? Yeah, what's I like the distinction between design. We've met before as well. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I started with designer. When I first started the website, I learned CSS and HTML. But I think I'm more on the design. Well, like right now, I'm learning design. However, I'm using like WordPress and drag and drop situations and all of that. I'm not so much into coding so much right now, but that's what I learned in school. I went to Vector, and that's what taught me.
Oh, that's great. But design of machine learning, lots, whatever. It's like backend, .NET, so which is crazy. So, all right, so we're gonna jump right in. Now, just a quick backstory. I'll be basically, but I've been developing for what, 7 years now. But breaking things apart since I was young. I love teaching technology and Jesus, not in that order, which I loves. And I currently moved from Belgium. I used to do Google advertising at our ad agency. And my passion is to come with problem growth. Right. So if I see something today that is too high level, please stop me. It shouldn't happen, but it does. Stop using advanced terms. Understand what it means. Promise you stay. You're going to things you've never seen. Like you, they've gotten directly to the point. All right. So, the three different groups of developers. It's not scientific development, this is scientific development for anybody who wants to have some development for construction. You know, construction. This is exactly the website that I want. Teacher, build this. You already given them the layout. All you're hoping is that they have skill. That's it. You don't want to be there. Starts. Why would you want to stay? You know, contractors are the ones that actually know. They say, what is your vision? You want to be music. Okay, how do you have to build an application? What is contractor has background knowledge about how to build. So they can better guide you and better your vision. Contractors are very, very, especially one. But there's one more. Consultant. Consultants. Just tell you, they have so much experience that they don't touch a brick in laying down the website or software. They're the ones that tell you, okay, based on percent, this is your 5-year vision, this is your potential growth trajectory, and this is what you need to be successful. But they don't quote. Now, consultancy is where I want you guys inspires. It doesn't mean that you'll never quote. It just means that you have enough background knowledge that you can guide other people to their solution. That cool?
Sounds good.
Good. That's what we'll go. Who's heard of the 5 whys? Who has heard of the 5 whys? What is what are
They have a problem. Then, yeah, I push and let it
That's exactly. So if you didn't hear what she said, now any problem in the world, lay it on the top, and you ask 5 whys to figure out what the root cause of it is. It's called root cause analysis. And it's the way that consultants think. It's the way that Elon Musk thinks. In fact, we put it very heavily that you should be thinking in terms of cause analysis.
What I learned about the like words is just that there are just some acronyms for some words.
Well, that's a different way. That's the letter Y. That's different from this. These are actually questions.
Yeah, it's like letter or what, you know, that's what I'm sure about this, yeah. That's nice.
This is the final.
I'm open to learning.
So let's look at an example of these facilities. So here's an example of 5 ways to look. Let's say a patient received the wrong medication. You as a consultant are going to sit with the principal and the problem and say, all right, why? The answer would be something like the nurse did not complete patient identification. And the next question is, why? Who? Patient did not respond. Why? The respondent been removed for a procedure in our reports. That's why again. The printer response was not working. And then the last one, the printer had a technical issue that was not resolved. And so what you do with that information is you connect from the problem to the root cause of why patient received the wrong medication because the printer had a technical issue that was. Why is that? If you try to diagnose this problem and fix this by just looking at this, give me some examples of one. If you look at just the first slide and said problem with the patient got the wrong medication, it's terrible. And you just do one line. You said the nurse did not complete patient identification. What would you do for each of those? This is the biggest one. No, you're not. My question is, why is the whole concept of what is the person? So probably the nurse is better. Okay, all right, let's see my comment about it. They want training. Powerful points. You guys, now you're reason? Probably the training wasn't good enough. So here's what the company or organization that doesn't fit with 5 whys. Most of these nurses are lazy. You need to replace that nurse. You can't have this happen again. Fire the nurse, hire a new nurse. When this is the application. Or, you know, you need to do it spend the next 3 years, $18 million, and with all the nurses, so they never forget this one. All you need is to spend $50,000. Right? That's why the 5 whys are. Because you're going to figure out what the actual issue is. What is the thing that should cause the problem? Not what is in the first step. So that's how a consultant is. Right? There's a beautiful quote by Ryan Laws where he says, a consultant is someone who saves the client almost enough to pay his fee. I love that. Right? You have a good consultant, they are someone you pay just over what you're saving in that first month or during your period. Because over time you're expected to make a lot of money, extra profit, or increase it. Good so far? Okay, cool. So we're going to be thinking like consultants today. Very little AI is going to be discussed today, very little development. This is more how you approach thinking like a consultant. Because these are the guys that are going to be the hardest to replace when AI is writing code. All right, cool. I got one head on, so I'm gonna nod on. So there are 4 arms in this present: leadership, development, products, and marketing. And by the end of this, you're gonna have a very brief introduction to all of them. So, what is a leader's role in an organization? It is possible. Some of you are leaders yourself.
By the focus.
Yes.
And
That's exactly it. So a leader's role is guidance. Right? They're the ones that correct course if you're on the wrong course, or they're the ones that say you're on the right course and continue to encourage them. And leadership isn't just or CEO or CXO, see anything. Some of you are leaders in smaller firms, and your role is to make sure that the way you're leading your team is clear. So one of the other big things that you look for in a leader is vision, right? But I will actually say that a lot of vision information pressures. So one of the things you want to keep in mind is that a leader should also have vision. So I'm going to pass this vision on to you guys. These are 2 books that I highly, highly recommend. And I'll put recommendations for every section. The reader. Don't say that the name of the book, it's not about what it says. There's a really good called How to Capture the Book. The is. And the other book is High Output Management by Andy Grove. Andy Grove is the guy that basically built Intel up to what it was at its peak. Right? This is before all the stuff happened. He was with Intel. And these guys talk about leadership and hardship that comes with leadership because importantly, leaders are the ones that continue to push regardless of how hard it gets. So let's go into product development. So I talked about leadership. Let's go into product. Now, know this anybody here about this word, right? Well, while preparing for this, I had a fantastic experience. Who here uses them?
I use it.
You use them. You're taking. You think of a choice. But Link is supposed to be this digital wallet revolution that we have, right? So product. Well, let me first explain Link since most of you don't use it. Link is a digital wallet, it's not a bank account. So just like I have money in my wallet, I can take it out in the bucket, it's not a bank, it's a place to store it. Right? So the product is really the markets, right? They're supposed to be focusing on small businesses, like the guy who's selling peanuts on the side of the road. Just like Cash App, you're supposed to. You're gonna hear a lot of supposed to in this. Go scan the QR code. That's it. The software is very good because it actually connects directly to your bank account. So if you have an NCB account, you'll actually check how much you have in your balance. Go from it. And then the last one is the leadership, right? The leadership team, when it started, it has been from, but the leadership team was directly related to NCB University. Now, all of that sounds nice, right? But what is I really want you to. This is Link's merchant page. Now, the merchant page is supposed to help persons who want to use the product find out what it is. I chose this example because I think it's a good, easy example to discuss. But this is the whole page. I'm going to play the video again. And I want you to pick it apart and tell me what's wrong with this page. Remember, the goal of the page is let people know where they can use. The address, top.
It's the game.
Very good. Street. Yeah. Street. Yes. Good. Okay. So the picture, lots of pictures are missing. The addresses are not there. There's more, so we'll invite you guys to think of a very good start. Especially the address point. These things are filters.
That's the reason I think where it says that.
They have reference, but he noticed. It was the burden to assume actually not. There's also income information. Not to mention the two filters. So you're right, there's an issue with filters. So the point of this is not the bottom. The point of this is to say Link has invested so much money in building an online world that it seems to me from the outside that they forgot to them the most important part, which is the end user. You cannot figure out where you can spend Link, you will not use it. That's the reason you guys don't use Link. You don't know that you can actually go to island, there was any island in Europe. Yeah, that's okay. So you have to pay everything all of that, the 4,000 basics. But this interface is so terrible, it does the whole process. And so the goal of this discussion is how do you understand product development, right? That's what we're talking about. Product development for being a product owner is knowing what to build. In something, a product owner knows what. They direct the discussion about what features, who we should build it for. Product owner is the one that says this is what we should. And if you're interested in becoming a product owner or learning more about how to build products that people use, there's two big books. Product Led Group, fantastic book. In summary, it talks about how you use your own product to sell itself. So this doesn't opposed to the old way where like you have full software, we have to schedule a demo with somebody and say, oh, you need to be at 7. Thank you. You need to be at 7, and they're in India, they're like at 7 p.m. now. We can't do the demo now. Product Led Growth is where you can do your own onboarding process. Native and Skill is a very popular, who started up? Native and Skill. It's a very popular book. Talking about an entrepreneur's guide to managing getting you on what to build, how to make sure that's solid. Instead of building 15 ideas with Visual Load or any AI tool, focus on one thing, make sure it's set up, and then build. You guys use the word? Okay. Sales and marketing. Now, this section is a bit longer and it's a bit more interactive. But when you think about sales, you might think about this, right? The guy that comes up to you that looks a bit sleazy, a bit like a fun one, and you're like, boy, he has to slip back here, stand up, ready to sell water when you just bought a bottle of water. Right? But sales is not that. Sales is you speaking to a prospect about what they need and getting into their business, right? You're not trying to convince them about things that they don't need. You're trying to explain to them that your solution actually matches the issue that they have. And the art of sales is explaining that in a way that they identify. So not coercion, it's not forcing them to persuade them to buy something. It is explaining to them in a very clear way. This is what you need. So we're going to do a little exercise, right? Who started the marketing funnel? Who started the marketing? You've heard about it. Beautiful. Very easy to understand. You see what I mean? Okay, won't lose anybody, we're only 9 of us. So the marketing funnel is the core of every business. There are 4 steps. It's also called AIDA. AIDA. The first step is awareness. So every brand goes through the awareness phase. Okay, it's already with such as every brand goes through awareness. So awareness means I know that. So whichever brand you work for, whichever company you work for, when you're doing marketing, first step is making sure people are aware. But that does not mean they're like. The second step, interest. So that means that they have now made a decision about something they want, and you are one of the consenters. So, practical example, let's say we're all here, and we decided in here that we want Chinese food. The moment we decide that we want Chinese food, we're going to say that we have interest in China. And so you're going to suggest one place, you're going to suggest one place, somebody's going to say yeah, I'm going to say no, right? But everybody's going to have Chinese food on their mind. Then we have to follow that funnel down to the next step, which is consider. So we all agree that we don't want young, but there's 3 other options that we can choose. One of them doesn't listen to sellers, that's all. And so we finally land on one place. And then the last step, acquisition or action, which means the purchase. So those are the main things, those are the main steps of the marketing. Now, why that's important is for you to follow the marketing funnel, you also need to understand who your audience is. So your audience is made up of a lot of people, right? Each person in your audience that you're building for has interests, beliefs, family situation, education, all of these things make up who they are. It's not one simple thing. So you can't go to the website and say, we're going to build a website for women. That's crazy, right? That's actually ridiculous. You need to understand the difference between who the user is, the customer. And you have to be very specific when you're doing it. So, quick, simple marketing example. If you're doing this photo, there's a sales guy. There's like this photos. You have the wife and you have the husband in the back. What's he doing wrong?
He's looking for his
You know, I've done this presentation a couple times. He is looking at her breast, but that was an accident. I didn't know that somebody on the call was like, he's looking at the room.
No, I was gonna say he's not giving her eye contact. That's what I was saying.
Yes, he's not even hiding that. That's true. But that's not the issue that we're highlighting today. So he's trying to sell them. Oh, he's trying to sell them a stove. Oh, why? What's your name? Cornelia. So Cornelia said he should be talking to them. She's absolutely correct. That is his biggest point. He's probably the first on the job saying, okay, she's going to use it. So let me talk to her and convince her. It's a 6-burner stove and there's all of this, all of that. But what he doesn't understand is statistically, this is not chauvinism or misogyny. So the stats say that it's usually the man that purchases it, right? In most cases. So he's speaking to the end user of the stove, but he's not speaking to us. Purchase. So it's the same as he's trying to sell on the future. All the husband cares about is going to buy the stove that makes this wife respond. It needs to be speaking to. And so as a developer who's thinking like a consultant, you might have an app idea or a website that you want to build for people, and you're only thinking about end user. Everybody wants to sign in with Google, I'm gonna build something with Google. I'm gonna get the payments to work, I'm gonna do this and that, this feature. But have you thought about who the person actually purchasing your app would be? If you're building the next Uber, and you're saying, well, I'm gonna build a fun version of Uber that, is for kids, Uber for kids, right? You think this is this great app idea, Uber for kids, safe travels. And you're focusing on all the experience the kid is gonna have in the car, you're gonna focus on the driver is gonna dress up like a clown. You're building this experience around the kids pay. No. Parents don't care that the driver is dressed like a clown when they're paying for the workers. They care that the kids will be safe. They care about the GPS tracking for the whole journey. They care about the review on the driver. And so as we develop, let's keep end user and not focus on one graphic. Hope that makes sense. That's it. It's about it. So I have a couple examples. I'm gonna have to line you guys up. So there are 4 examples there, and I want you guys to tell me now. Who is the end user? And who's the customer? First scenario, ATL is trying to sell common card, luxury BMW vehicles, and electric vehicles. The value that they're offering is mobility. And they're also offering long-term support. These vehicles that you buy from ATL. Who is the end user? Who are the end users? They're multiple. There's as well. All right. So who's the end user for ATL? Who's the end user? What group do you fall under? Mhm. So not just the cars, but I want you to put yourself in a group and don't just say women. It's like women in a certain age group, demographic. Why are you the end user for ATL and not a car market, for example? So business women. Cool. We can work with that. Business women are end users. Who else?
Yes, me. Persons who wanna see it on tool.
Yeah.
Because ATL sell the beast them.
Let me check it out.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right. So the people who are skating on the total, exactly.
Families with
Families good.
children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's going to be the end user? You mean,
The person also the
yeah, who's that?
mother.
Okay, mother or father?
You.
Can you choose one of them?
Mother.
Okay, mother with mom. One more end user and then we jump to customer.
Nobody can see it's, someone it's, covering chest.
That's good. Yes. That's great.
So you're going
Okay, someone who's taking carbon emissions or just wants to show people that it looks like they're taking carbon emissions. Politician. The father, in the case of the mother, the father, yes. Who else?
Me.
The businesswoman could also purchase for herself. Well, what if you're a businesswoman in an organization? Who's the purchaser?
Probably before.
Absolutely. Word of the CEO. Let's take one more for the customer. Because working class men, who are they buying for themselves or for others?
For the politician.
For themselves. Okay. Yeah.
That one.
Yes. Well, why are they ATL's customer not Karma? Because of
Well, ATL has the, BMWs and the cars and what girls like. So they wanna pick up their girl, those fancy luxury cars. Sometimes you might borrow a Virgin car, but you can't share lots of.
I know. I know. I know. Borrow her, but okay. Yeah, they would be both end user and customer. They really want to impress someone, the rest of the company. They're good at it. Not just for one weekend, that'd be crazy. So let's say that now that we know the end users and the customers, what is ATL's strategy and marketing? Very, very important to figure out who the customer is. So end users, mom, a lot of kids, this is a businesswoman. You said people who are conscious about environment, the customers could be the company buying it for their executive, the father buying it for the mother, or The guy who's skating on the pool can also afford BMW M5. What strategy has ATL's marketing team used to get those bikes? Kind of advantage there are basically custom where I'm able to look at the family house, you know, and I want to have that see brand efficiency on the gas and space efficiency safe. That's it. I agree. Some others.
But that, maybe see that.
Since they're easy to do for the comments. Okay. These are great. Give me one more with business or with yours. Go ahead with yours. Cool. So maybe you are now trying to narrow in on one word. How do you get to a shop? How do you do the white? Those businesses that say everybody's their target audience, ridiculous. That's stupid. That doesn't make sense, right? Only government makes the price. You would actually market. So the price and value from the two different. Because if you buy a $1 million and cost you 1 year, you buy $7 million and cost you 7 years. Value from $1 million to $7 million is way higher. So which one? Not into it. But I like the way you're thinking. No, so have another example. Have another, don't worry. All right, so this is products. Now, most of us here are developers with we do service. So let's do a service. Let's do extras. Is workouts, selling point is new body, feeling better, losing weight, being healthier. Who is the end user for exercise?
I think that is one.
Please. Especially.
So the end user is the individual that wants a summer body,
Yes.
right? And they're getting that summer body to attract me. Yes. That's my point.
100%. Who else do we have? Yeah, Lisa.
Alright, so I would definitely, and if therefore, I would definitely want to keep my body in shape. I would want to ensure that, I don't have too much fat on my body. I want to ensure that I have a very flat belly. And, all those things and,
What group of persons do you fall into? So you and other people like what groups are?
the group that we would fall into is, as a businesswoman, you want to be here, impressing, the guys, and, try to attract those, yeah, you don't want to be apart from the crowd, you want to pick.
Can I add to that?
Well, if none of them have. Or need to add to the
Oh, very little one? No? It's a good topic.
It's even the fun is. As well as moms, have a big one.
Yeah.
That's
So those sickness or illnesses. Maybe go to American illnesses, summer body. Doing both with summer body, track that track versus. What's the one?
That's like going to.
That's been interesting. I don't know if anybody wants to reply to that. They do worry about it. So maybe not, because usually they work out all year round, they have their trainers and they train
Oh, you don't.
close to the target. So let's go then next perspective here. Unless it's like a starter app, a junior app, but not Shelly. We don't see Shelly as expert. Maybe. Express, so if you've never been to Express is also like a social. So you have a hard end to work out. And Express is like chill, but also work. So it's also a little more social, especially when you're on set. We're gonna say, I was gonna say, athletes. And the same type of athletes.
I guess everyone's already in shape enough, so so they don't more kind of number that you mentioned.
Right.
So yeah, so sometimes it's like not we're not there like every single day of the week, but like just actively.
You see how the distinction is there, like you can't just say athletes because they have so they have this price. Like there's a spectrum of unknown here, so athletes is too wide. When you narrow it down to casual athletes who are just trying to be fit or run fast, who are the one for end user of trainers. Trainers. No, yeah, yeah. So good on training are and user of Express. Now, who is the subscriptions? Express doesn't have monthly membership that you can do, they have a student fund, if you don't know. So who are the customers? And there may be overlaps, the end user can be the customer, you know.
Was there could be like corporation,
Absolutely. And that's very real. Many companies do that. Right? You want to say the CEO or the HR pays for going to them. They're paying for everybody to get to them. So they're a customer, but not end user. Anybody else?
For me, I would say the first one would probably be like the office of my partner. Then he might be the one that I would say the one purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's also very real. That's real talk there. That's what happens. I'll give you one more that I've heard, which is in some cases you might have people who are ill, as Bernina mentioned. People who are coming out with addictions. And so the customer might also be rehab. Right? They might be sending them to the gym as part of their rehabilitation process. Now, all of this comes back around to being yeah, but I don't want your marketing. Those are you have to. Everybody's in marketing. They just don't. You see, the approach that you just took here shapes your development. Let's just go back to the detail. If you know that the person's still purchasing care of safety, space, get their safety, space, remember? Efficiency, then that's what you need in mind on your website. Right? The homepage. The most efficient vehicles in 2025. Get more value, but you create a landing page saying, like, you know, safest vehicle, safety raising, it's into a wall, airbags come, nobody dies. Right? 90%. In web development, this is the core of everything because if you don't have an audience, you can't write code. So this, guys, how you design websites for your apps. You design it first. Right? Otherwise, you just take a template, put it on the website, and then ask yourself why it's not working. So we always start with who's the end user from a platform. Good websites. That was really good, guys. All right, I have 4 recommendations here. You can listen to these if you're not a reader, but I will also say readers are leaders. You want to lead, you have to read. 100 Million Days is a fantastic book. So it's going to be that same guy, Alex Morton. On page marketing plan is not good. So very good. And data-driven marketing is only like that. Okay, that one is a heavy one. So we talked about leadership, we talked about marketing, sales, we talked about products. Now we're going to go into digital. So by the end of this, I want you guys to be better at entering hackathons. That's kind of a subplot of my conversation here today. I want that when you enter your next hackathon, that's going to be awesome. Hackathon. So hackathon is a coding competition where teams will come together, 2 to 5 persons, and they tackle a specific problem for a set amount of time. And it can be non-stop, so it can be throughout the night. And yeah, you usually get big prizes at the end. All right, so I want you to be better at entering hackathons. I'm a hackathon introvert. I've won a couple. I've lost quite a few. All right, but I do want you to become better at hacking in a hackathon. Exactly. Because that is how this is built, right? You find a problem, you focus on it, you build something that actually solves the problem. So let me just give you the story of Jeff. Jeff is looking for information on this. So we're in the development space. And he goes to their website, he's trying to buy some food, he's in a new town. He finds out that they sell some level of food. But when he goes to their website, all he sees is the time and date that they're open, where they're located, and what is and that's it. And here, some of you are like, that website is like a brochure, that doesn't make it. Because your website is not supposed to be an online brochure. Your website is supposed to be working for you as an online branch. So do not think about it as a brochure, think about it as a branch. You have a physical branch. Somebody walks in, somebody reads in and smiles, come on in. You're like, come on in. You're welcome to walk in. Is there anything that I can get you? Is there some customer service? What are you trying to do? Are there some knowledge about your products? Can I purchase? Somebody comes right up to them with ATM machine, card machine, and can tap it. A branch does that for your customer while you're sleeping. A brochure does not. A brochure says, oh, I have to call them. I'm sleeping at midnight. Somebody says, do you deliver it? Right? That knows. And so if your website is just a brochure, you're just building websites where you can find information like yellow pages, that doesn't help anybody do business. And that's not used content. So that's not where we're aiming. So only for brand websites. To make it a little more, yeah.
All right, I do want to comment for the introduction to two things, giving the chance to some water. So we're ordering pizza, peppermint, Hawaiian, and some vegetable pizza. They should be here soon. I do want to compliment the water for the time being. Anyone want water?
Don't come out. This one tomorrow.
All right, so if anyone wants one, it's better. All right, that should be enough.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So here's the practical breakdown. Building your website, first second. A brochure website talks about the products and services in a visually appealing way. Then the brand website allows you to perform sales and follow up stakeholders. So your website will be able to do things like say happy birthday, send them emails next year on their birthday because it's a branch. It has customer support. Just like you would walk into a market and expect your brand to be able to tell you how to open account. The website should be doing that. At the very least, you should have reviews that says these are the steps. Because it's a branch. The knowledge base is very important. Having a rich knowledge base on your website is helping brands. Customer support, complete transactions, very important. E-commerce is growing. I know people think that we're still behind on e-commerce. And in a sense we are, but we're not afraid of it like we used to be. A perfect example of that is Amazon. And even a better one now is Shein. People are ordering from China. Right? With no hesitation. Putting their card in, they're buying from China. So I don't think it's a part of stretch to take money for somebody who buy from Asia. Data analysis, your brand website does that as well. So it looks at trends and how people are purchasing, how they interact with you, how many times they fill out the forms, and it includes something called a CRM. So if you're building a website for somebody asks you, your church, your friends, build a website for me, please don't just jump on the internet and say, build a website. Find out like what we just discussed it earlier and look for free CRM. What is the CRM? It's a customer relationship management tool, which means that it takes in that information of each customer interaction. And let's say you just want to find out how many times Chris visits the website to purchase a product, see all of this. And there are many free options. Okay, right, cool. I'm very confident about this. I can talk about this all. Some of your eyes are going down one. So I'm not gonna call any time. I'm not gonna call any names, but very important. You can have a website that's a brochure that actually hurts your brand. How? So there was a study in 2006 by Neil Whiting that says that people make a first impression of your business 0.05%. It's not 0.8, 0.0%. There's a Bible verse that says something happened in the twinkling of an eye. The first thing. Imagine that. Like you blink, and somebody said that this is a scam company, this is a real. Just so looking at your website. And if you guys think about it, if you pull up anything, not gonna, but there's an example. But if you pull up a link of a company that you've never heard of, just glance at the website and be able or flow. And that impression is set. So a bond website can have for a client that we had to redesign many years. They had just merged, so there were a larger credit. This wasn't doing it many pluses. We were doing it for many. So that can affect your brand, and then our redesign can help your brand. Because the truth is you still have the same amount of time. Right, so we give them something a lot more vibrant. It showed people what they do. The menu guided them on different loans, life savings products, etc. And all of this allowed them to have a better experience. All right, who's ready to talk about data? Wow.
Me.
Okay, data is very exciting. So we have a client who has an international North American boarding group here that he does. He does in Barbados, Bahamas, Cayman, and this is super cool, right? So over the years, we built up a new website for people like our restrictions on the website. But because we collected for multiple events over many years, we were able to actually track a trend of how many people actually come to the event. Now, if you ever wonder, that is vital information. So what we found is every year, between 33 and 36% of people sign up. Put yourself in an event planner. If you know that when you get 300 signups, 100 people are going to show up, what can you do? Aiden, what can you do?
I guess you can, if it's guaranteed So you can have that as the minimum amount and then account for any bonus people that will show up. So like with the 300 that you said, like after the could account for a minimum of 100 show up.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can have extras for any more people to show up.
So you're saying as a plan, you could print 100 stuff,
And
cater.
then like at least, okay, it's not here, probably. Um, 2/3.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
So like, if you know if there's like your, then just have enough for, another sort of. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you answered it very nicely. You gave it very practical numbers. When you have data like this, usually then come and say, Texas, I only need a room for 150 because we got 40%. I only need a caterer to do a little bit extra. So you're not spending on extra food that gets thrown away because you have data to back up. If you have 500 sign-ups, 160. And that's what he can know. So for the different fairs, you've actually able to track that by Kingston is this amount. Bahamas is this amount, Cayman is this amount, and he can better plan because data collected by his website. Now, you guys don't usually hear about these and fun things like that. It's very important, especially if you run a business or doing things. Because you can say, okay, in general, we have 50, 18 people will come, we need a bigger move. And you get to plan. Any questions on where we're going? Okay, cool. Yeah, coffee coming. Not the same. I'm gonna get something similar for Conex. So Conex is another one that we built their website. And a good website can do a lot of things. Who's heard of SEO?
Me, no. I think.
No.
No.
Okay. Um,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
So SEO is how Google ranks your website and search results. It is their algorithm, many others, but it is their way of saying that you should be here on the search results page. We have a couple ways that we do it. Page speed, how quickly your page loads, how the keyword ranks, how exact word match is, and qualitative content. When we first built Connex's website, the SEO was so good that it was too good. We had people applying for jobs to work at Connex from India. But so SEO is just pretty good, right? It's just well planned. Google will do the indexing. But there's another thing that you can use your website to do to get along. SEO is a very important field. We're not going to touch deep people are in touch. I told you, you've never heard of it. Almost 80 people. Who's heard of 80 people? New cousin.
That's the yeah, first.
So it's not artificial intelligence, it's actually answer. So search engine optimization is how you show up on the search results page. Answer engine optimization is how you show up with those AI.
Yeah.
Guys, this is a big deal. Let me demo this. All right, who has seen the Google AI?
I have seen it.
The best way to trigger it is to ask it a question. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to ask you to give me a question. And I'm going to show you the difference between SEO and AEO. Any question you would Google?
When is the next event?
What's the difference between it? this, the catch. So, right here at the top, you have the answer engine answer. Now, I don't overstate how important it is that you guys know what AEO. Because if you notice, Google is doing its best to give you all the answer up here. With what? Will never visit your website. So all web traffic globally is going to go down. Because you don't have to go on websites anymore to get an answer. So your goal now is how do you become one of these links on the site? And I'll show you just based on testing. It's not usually the nicest looking websites. It's just the ones with the best, the richest content. Right, so Google will link there, it's an answer. And this actually matches your question. Notice. So it will directly from that to give the answer. So if you find the website, AEO is a new area that you have to plan for, especially if you want to fund, you can use this for businesses. You can say, what are the best Chinese restaurants near me? Right. So this actually means increased business or lower business. I've done a test with like, we're the best injury lawyers in Portland. And it comes up with a list. I remember speaking to somebody who was like, why is her name not there? She wants to list it there, even though she has. Daniel, I want a question for you. Tell me where to go. Let's make this real.
Let's just see, quick, search, around. So there's a lot of people first parts the company. So first big part of companies, the city, that's the same way. The original, it's it's only then it starts to look for individual works. How many times this going to be and based on that, it means like upon the side, going to all the detail. And then when combined with side.
So I don't know. So I think you're pretty much on.
So I'm looking at this. It's so sad.
Yeah. So I think I think you are on. I don't know if you heard what you said, but you were saying it's probably ranking it based on exactness of match. The punch is your question. And it was. I will say this algorithm is interesting because based on that, you would think that these three links would be the top three search results. Maybe I think that. And what came up here. Different websites. So whatever algorithm Google is using to search engine results is different. Links in
No, but then again, those are as a someone would be deciding. Yeah,
could be.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I know something in the results here.
Yeah.
Daniel,
For ADO.
well, just overall on search page.
Instagram is one of the best ways. Instagram is always true. And it's one of the best ways for new businesses to start because there's something called the wave of quality that Google is looking for. And if you put up a website called chrisistrustworthy.com, and then I have a page called Chris is Trustworthy on Instagram, Google already knows Instagram is trustworthy, so people run with there just like this LinkedIn. Even though this person only has 20 reactions, it's not a viral article. Google trusts it. That's why it shows it's working. Medium, Google trusts medium. So that's why it's there. But Instagram shows up generally search results as well. Might not necessarily. So if you have a new business or a small business, you don't have a full website yet, shame on you. Secondly, use Instagram to make sure you get found. Yeah, before you make your website together. Ready to make it? What question are you going to share?
Repeat that one.
Okay, what do you guys do?
You have a question?
No.
So, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes when I understand, sometimes it's wrong. Really? Yeah. Like for example, yes, I understand. You would, for example, say no, and explain why it says no, and then before my reading explanation, you should have said yes. Really? So, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. So you're in the first reading. Verify. So maybe you're in that. No. I think we have time for one more question.
Wait, just out of curiosity,
Yes.
can you click on the link that they provide? I think that is the community website. Oh, yeah, yeah, Yeah.
Page
makes sense.
five. Guys, so as someone who's been in web for so long, this is possible, because I didn't have to click on your website. So you'll never know I saw the answer, you never know where I am in the world, you don't know who's interested. It changes how people browse.
Alright, so I think like the name of the business, and I decided to like with the people. Buy some brands, you know, business, I'm gonna start to. But.
That's good.
If that is people or.
That sounds like,
You think
sounds like. Delivery, digital. That sounds like SEO. So your Instagram is there, website is there. Outside the world. Yeah, and everything is you. This is not you, but that's important that you came up with right is you. And that's nice. One more flavor.
Alright,
Oh, question, I don't want, how to set up Starlink in Jamaica.
alright, yeah, that's a good
That's
one.
the easy one. That's the easy. The one that relates to business.
No, we did an article on,
Oh,
so,
understand. How to set up Starlink. I see. So you get Starlink, you get YouTube. We're on Whitaker. Sterling. I need to show all.
So it's not in the AEO ranking, but it's in the SEO ranking.
Did you guys
The first
have a
one.
name? Yeah. Here it is.
yeah, that's, yeah,
This is
yeah.
number one in S.
It's really changed the game.
Don't scroll that far anymore.
So.
Is it? It's something like.
Yeah,
You can control the digital flow.
yeah.
No.
No, but we had couple of our employees who set up Starlink in Mobile and somewhere else, but I don't think it's working in the rural area anymore. There's an outage, if I remember, but the internet speed are pretty crazy since satellite. Hmm? Yeah, it's just Wi-Fi, but
It's like satellite.
yeah, satellite internet.
Really interesting. Why? What I've found, and this is just off the top, is they usually use older stuff than I'm seeing stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, they usually use older stuff for AEO. When did you guys post it? Last year.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
it.
It's interesting. And Clearview gets the link. So from a business point of view, it's very important. Businesses also figure out their AEO because Clearview just got the link that says that they can sell Starlink.
Same.
So, okay.
website is not bad, you know.
This is clear. Because I don't- So,
Yeah. So you can become like a Starlink affiliate whereby you have to spend a bag of money to get some Starlink and then you can just run it as your own and install it for others, or sometimes they allow you to order on behalf of other individuals and then they will just do the setup. So it seems like that's what they're doing. And pizza is there. I guess you want to breathe now or you want to
I think
finish
probably
up?
best to finish.
Okay, finish up.
So let's jump in. What about apps? I do want to address this. I'm not an app consultant. I don't do app research. What is my opinion? What is what my travel and spoken?
Mhm.
But just what I would share is if you're thinking about building an app, like just consider a couple things before you build that app instead of the web app. There was research done in 2016 that said that the average person has 30 apps on their phone. And the second thing is how many apps someone installs on average per month. Can anybody guess? New apps. I want a number. I don't want a lot. Yeah. Yes, new apps on average per month. On average.
I
3, okay.
I would go probably 6, 7.
6. Okay.
Oh, we're talking personal numbers?
How much after you install? Okay. Yeah.
5. 1. Okay. 5, 2. So that. Average is 0.
So there,
You guys in top 5
I've seen a lot of people install a lot of apps. Try.
So after you get it set up and you know you want to take up. How many apps do you install?
I've got about 30 plus apps.
I have like 100 plus
No,
apps. I can no. So maybe because I average for normal people because I get well not normal people
No,
very well. So I guess part of the aspect is the type of phone they have. Because most people I guess would have a phone less than like 60 gig of storage, while people with phones that have 128, 256 this have I test install apps like on often. In fact, like
No, but you said something important.
Yeah.
Normal people, and that's a good qualification because if you're developing apps, you're developing properly.
yeah.
I disagree with one point. Jamaican people, despite what you hear, have some of the highest end phones, right? So it's not some regular Android them have. They can afford 50 plus apps on their phone.
That's true. But how many of you have really? So this is saying after you've done your setup for the last 12 months, you've installed more than 12 apps.
Yeah. Even TikTok this month, I started TikTok. Because even for example, if you think about it, like games, a lot of people would see like games apps and just click on it and just install it, and then after like 2 3 days, uninstall it and then install something else. Exactly.
Oh, that's good. Well, you guys might be just moving this stuff. That's so interesting. It's fun because I presented. No, I don't stop. Yes, it's different. But before you go into developing, some of the things that I would suggest keep in mind are how often do you expect people to use your content? They're not using it to temporarily available. You're probably better off this website.
Exactly.
You don't have gated content, you pay to access premium content, probably don't. So you're trying to be like a Netflix plus, or you just have paid resources that are specific to that user. Like you have an algorithm around that, a budgeting, where they can access all these budgeting features. And it's their own budget, nobody else. But then you might get out. Otherwise, you're from. Offline usage, you may need an app, push notifications.
Regarding, right now, like, what, because you need, what we're doing, people can use that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't read PW, but I think, did you write an article?
I don't think so, I don't.
Someone asked, Jason Club, yeah. You want to answer it or should I start? Progressive web application. It's pretty much you have like a website and say you want to transform it into a mobile app. You can do some JavaScript to use service workers to install it as app, like a bookmarkable app on your phone. It's like a way to fake that this website is an app. To answer your question now, I agree with some of the points that you made. Start with our website because even if you have a dedicated mobile app, you still need a website to market it. So towards your question one, it's a fast way to get something app ready, available to the public, especially if you have like a website that is not like fintech or so forth, and you just want your customer have it at a fingertip and you use it as a way of like a test bed. Does are people going on this PWA using it a lot and so forth? From that you analyze and say, oh, then based on that you can, build a app. That's a one way to look at it. The other way is it's cheap, very cheap to build. With web, there's not a lot of like requirements to make certain changes and so forth versus building a Flutter app or a native app where you have to make a lot of changes, submit each of those updates to Google Play Store and so forth. So you can make one change on the web and it instantly reflect on the PWA app instead of going through a revision process each time you submit the update to Google or Apple. Another aspect you can look at is just overall, even though I said cheaper way, overall it's very cost effective in terms of there's not much things you're going to pay for, and then you will have certain like functionality already inside your web app. For example, payment gateway, payment provider or certain external services that if you're going to have an app, you have to build that out. Everything mostly cater for web apps now and not necessarily, there's not a lot of native functionality for mobile app. So you have to weigh functionality, cost, time, and whether people will actually utilize the app. And that's where PWA comes in. It just plays a nice role in the middle between the two.
Yeah. I guess the bonus on that is that there's software that can actually convert PWAs to mobile. So PWA building. This is an area that users might like to just PWA builders from Microsoft. So if you have a working PWA, you convert it to iOS Enterprise tested very well. And you can create a Windows app from your website. So everything that you said, you just publish on your website, and it updates all the app stores. No revision. And so PWA is completely free.
Yeah. Just to add, just to add one. I think you asked the question about the PWA. Have you ever gone to our website and you see a pop-up say install this website or install this app? Yeah, that's literally what PWA is. It's what pops up as if you want to install this app on your phone or website or desktop, and you just click yes, And once you click yes, it will just show up on your desktop or on your phone. That's pretty much
You
it.
have an Android? Go to it. So Starbucks, there's a video of their website. So if you scan, so if you scan this QR code with your phone, and it's share the screen. So you can get that QR code. I'll show you what it looks like. It will allow you to install, to install on your device. That's pop up, that's what it looks like. And it opens on your device like a literal app. It has limitations, but it shows up like
Saying, you know, it's not really enough.
yeah, and some technical ones. So Uber actually started with using a web app before they built their native app. Right? So big old Uber, once they developed, but they had to stop because GPS tracking was not consistent on
Yeah.
web apps. So they had to build a native app.
Yep.
Start with
Amazing. Put that in experience. That's Starbucks.
right? And then in the menu, go right back to the presentation. You should see an option with 3 dots that says add to home. And then it pops up, then it comes up like apps. It's not a website with the URL, it's like a native app. Has the whole app open and everything comes up. And I never went through an app store. Right. So there's a website operating as an app.
Remind me, most of them are using Chromium, correct? The PWA, yeah,
Most of them is for
Chromium. Chromium, pretty much an open source version of Google Chrome. So if you use Slack or Telegram, those are Chromium based. So, so with PWA, if you install it on your desktop, it actually comes up in like a dedicated Chrome desktop app. But it, like I said, can be an app, but it's actually the website inside of a shell of Chrome, if that makes sense.
all right. Now I know the only thing to pizza, so importantly, book recommendations. Very good books. All right, this one on the left is like one of the several books on design. It is so good. Basically, for me, the design of the
Oh, I've not heard of this book.
very, very good book by Grant. The image is really descriptive, so what would happen if we were to see? So you were like and his examples in the book are everyday things that have what are called affordances, like lack of restriction affordance, which is because of how it's shaped, automatically know how to. So it's an affordance. So it gives you, it's like teaching you how to use the user interface without it's really simple. Grab your before over and on. How do you apply that to your own design? It is there's the talk about protocol. It's from architecture people read this. It talks about like how to push doors. Some of them have poor affordances because you're pushing but it has a part. It's like cool. So it's from design of everything.
Yeah.
But this one, the Phoenix project is with it's a longer book, but it is good for people who don't like reading because they do it in the form of a novel. So they make up a fake company, Parts Are Us, and then they talk about how the different departments take DevOps, everybody works together to get a solution out. So it's a novel about IT instead of reading all through of the time. That's the Phoenix Project. Guys, you can listen to this as audiobooks, by the way. Why challenge yourself to read on this one? I truly believe leaders are leaders. And if you're going to, you need to read. And at the end of this, because we are at the end, I hope you understand how it is to think like a consultant rather than just construction. We have high competition in Jamaica, especially because a couple of years ago it was India, but I sat in the government office right over there, without calling the name of the office. And we were at a board meeting, we presented the price of how much it would cost to build a website and a half. Professor from the university looked at us and said, "Why would we pay you when we go to India?" I was like, okay. So crazy statement is that.
That's kind of still a thing, though.
You wanna.
Yeah, Professor, I do. So we had India before, right? Now, India is very good at construction. India is very good at. I want a hub. My dad went to the sea and said, "I want a hub like this," and they built it. It did not work in Houston. Right? We find that unfortunately is many people's experience with developers. They build it, but they don't have cultural context. They also don't know how to. That was the previous issue, but you guys are also going to play. Yeah.
Oh, and there's something about website, like, their prices, like, $100 to build a full website, or $200, or $50, and what about hosting, what about doing, what about all these things, what about your time that you're putting in, and then you're saying that you add it's in, in 7 days or 14 days, but just
It is. You're saying you have a problem because their companies in there.
right.
Let me encourage you. This presentation is for everybody, but if you take this, you won't have to worry about the fiber. And I said that as somebody who we started building cheap sites, but the last site we sold was 20,000 US. So we're not doing cheap sites. Right? So there are people that understand the value for it. There's one. It started with like 1.15 US. I think Connex is like not more than 5. Yeah, 15. Yeah. But one. So as you build up your value and you add value to people, you're going to be able to charge them because they can trust you.
Because as a beginner, encouraging and all of that, I'm like, okay, probably I need to charge like $5, charge $20 or $300.
Or it would be like that.
Yeah. So part of what is also into that is that you need to starting is one thing, and you can do that, but only for a time, because you need to build up a portfolio indicating your brand. This is how you do things. This is the quality that you can provide. And from once you build up that portfolio, you can take your portfolio to a company and say, you can deliver X in X time. This is example of the value that you give and so forth. And based on that, you can boost up your pricing. Because it's like, for example, take this building, for example, by this room, it's very aesthetic, appealing these days and so forth. So if you can showcase like this room, like, oh, you can get this room set up nice where people are and there's even food in the back, people will pay versus, oh, you can just do a simple setup and that's it. The other thing is also like customer care. Sometimes like people just don't want a one-off work. They want someone to guide them through that process. To think about their website as a brand and not just, oh, a project that is put done. That's it. So building that portfolio plan and value, not just for yourself, but also for the company. I guess from here, you can get higher prices. There's two type of pricing mechanism, value-based pricing, cost-based pricing. I don't remember the third one because I don't use it often, but value-based pricing is like the way to go. But sadly, most times people go towards cost-based pricing. So I don't know if you want to touch on those.
That's exactly it. Do you understand the difference between value-based and cost-based?
How about later?
Pretty much. I think there's a nice graphic. I was hoping I could find it, but basically showing how to start where they perceive the value of your solution and price from there. But I think, yeah, what Shane said is fine. I don't need to go any deeper than that. The only thing I'll add to it is that basically you plan for a career. There's no shortcut. You like too much shortcut job life, right? You have to study. Like, you have to study. So, and that's the issue. There's versus a studying for yourself, right? Or work with this not to be ashamed, right? Everybody. One of the things clients appreciate, yes, the customer care is value, but they also appreciate that we know we're talking about fluffing and not making up something. Yeah, that's what we spend time studying. So yeah. Oh, this was a joke, but you guys don't think I'm anything big of myself. But I got posted in the paper, right? And I laughed because they came up with this term, digital strategy. But I put it here. Yeah, I was thinking what is it? Like this thing, what I realized that each of you probably plays a role of digital strategist in somebody's life, whether it's parents, your grandparents, your neighbor. Really get when it comes to log into their whole YouTube accounts or access whatever. And in some way, shape, or form, you are all digital strategists. And my hope is that today you at least understand the value of a better strategist so that you can help other people to agree to you. Thanks. That's it. Thank you guys. Any questions?
Alright, so for those of you online, if you have questions, and let me know. Those of you who have questions can go ahead.
This, what are some of the tools that you use to build websites?
Yeah.
Any shows anywhere? So the main platform that we build websites on, is Wix. We are Wix partners. I've stuck to Wix because of their continued development. A lot of people think Wix is just like a mom and pop drag and drop builder. Wix is a crazy. It has CI/CD built in. It has Node.js serverless. You can build up entire API on Wix for other people to consume all other APIs. So Wix is really one of the most robust UI frameworks. So heavily custom.
That's Wix and
I mean, that's what we use. I've dabbled in request Drupal and Joomla once from scratch. Wix is never first. Not for what they are. I think, I mean, it's not dumb, but Wix can get a second, 12 years. That includes a booking system, so no Eventbrite, no calendar. You have a full calendar. I show you one time, say, from way before. So don't think about 20,000. See that.
Oh, do you incorporate your space?
So I'll also show you that. So a lot of brokers build their site. Here's it. And one of the important features for them is that they have many NRS site. So long insurance stuff, LA. Right, so all these advisors have profiles of the book that. And the important thing here is the booking calendar actually we built it with this, which made that very easy. So if I want to book a consultation with Julie, check her next availability, sign, and it'll send this as a request to her calendar without information, just a booking feature should. But this comes in with an appointment schedule.
That's. Right.
It's built in, so no external apps. So for speed to get the value, today, Alden, I think I would still go with on most things. I probably will look at both value, the AI builder, or other stuff that I
I will go and find a website or wish.
Wix. I will use it. For the payment gateway, we have our because we have to build on Wix. So we have built something called Android. So literally you can do anything with PayPal. So Android is the way to actually accept payments in Jamaica. Go straight to your bank account, doesn't touch anything in between. So it's not just a payment, it goes straight to your payment gateway. It's like, yes.
And I guess you guys don't market this?
Still doing that, but trust me,
Oh.
trust me.
Because so generally I've been doing research for payment gateway for a number of people. So came across DimePay, WePay, EasyPay, a bunch of them. Okay. So I guess when it's out and ready, there's things because again this is something we are also do like presentation on because we're supposed to link up with DimePay for them to just showcase their payment gateway. So we'd love to see this in action. Most likely.
Anybody that over transit, so NC versus Nova Scotia scales.
So, Power Chance. So Power Chance is the guys that mainly do FAC, that's First Atlantic Commerce. And First Atlantic Commerce is like a payment gateway for Visa and MasterCard and a couple other stuff. It's just that they do the implementation. So what he's saying that if whatever Power Chance do any bank that they're associated with, they probably can do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have,
Question, how easy is it for, let's say, I have a website where I sell my digital art? How easy is it for me to sign up and send get paid, let's say next week?
So the hardest part of Adpay is getting your merchant credentials from your bank. That can take 2 weeks, it can be longer. You're a new customer. But once you have that, you are literally putting it in on the back end, installing Adpay. There are a couple lines of code. We're trying our best to not charge a setup fee, but it might be start. And then you'll be up and running in the same day. Maybe the next day.
So will it be like a subscription
Yeah.
or per transaction?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
So it'd be like,
It'll be like Figure, but the selling point of Adpay, built it, is there's no jumping to somebody else's website. So they never leave that. They never leave your site. So there's no redirect to this payment you can buy, no Figure out, no Spur Open, no Easy Payments. Everything is on your. It's within your site.
For which one?
For Adpay.
For our case,
Yeah.
so everything is cheaper.
They never leave your site. So imagine like a purchase. That's the same thing. They don't go from Amazon to Amazon Payments on the back. So it's just right.
So
It doesn't look like a level.
It doesn't belong to the website.
Oh, so, generally, there's three stages for the group. Hosted page, which is what started with quick page, and then take to another page, what's on the website, the meeting, and we have website. So that's hosted page. If I want is, I feel you click about, I feel roads from their website to make payment, once payment made, that way disappear. Telecom side is race, you can make that bank card details stored their server, and then they process the payment, and then with fund the payment successful, this is transaction, ID, and then one of it. So I'm guessing you're doing the iframe and West.
We're doing iframe on this. Yeah. Correct.
Alright, so does, will that up in PayPal or just local for Jamaica or Caribbean?
So you can already use PayPal as an alternative, but I think that's like an alternative to PayPal. So
PayPal is not incorporated.
not in so think of it like two different options. You can pay with PayPal or you can pay with iPay.
Oh, so it doesn't.
No, I wouldn't want to because PayPal is
Yours.
not just US, PayPal is like 100. PayPal is a drop, right? I should say we had a client who she had her money in PayPal, and PayPal said, "Oh, that's a lot of money." Freeze.
Yeah, because PayPal and Google have your money, it doesn't matter. Just we have right now, I have a small amount of money in PayPal and then share on cheap and that on the account and then connect.
That's why we do. That's why this is alternative. This doesn't even go through us. It goes through your bank. Right. So like easy payments, we love easy payments. I know the guy who founded it. That is a very easy way to do payments, but they have to kind of resolve it through an account into your account. Once the person pays, it goes. Right. So there's no PayPal free.
So the question, so when you say, so if I would say that, residential or, right, it is what's the,
Because it's based on your setup with the bank. I think it's 1 still.
okay, the reason why I asked for successful as their own is, which will stand for the successful, but the as soon as it, is made, it reflects in like 6 to 24 hours.
That's good.
No, successful is,
Oh, that's okay.
yeah, it's just, they have,
So it's
website. It's just that they'll set up costs with this time, no, because like 60,000 for custom and then, what, okay.
The 25 for.
Yeah. Focus is. So, I mean, that's one question that it chit chat. Quick, last thing. I have two people that here, but ask two questions based on what Chris said. Actually, I'm going to ask one and then Chris can ask the other. I'm going to ask a very simple one, which is what does AEO stand for? Oh. Yeah, oh. 15 cents. 15 cents. Oh, okay. And then operate. So, yes, go ahead.
I'm starting to optimization. I just read it.
Well, hey, you know my questions. I'll be your questions. Alright, my question is. What are the 4 stages? of marketing funnel?
Oh, 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 oh. Okay. Okay, I know, okay, is it, the first one, so that, like, the end of, like, correct? What, attention? First one. Then, and then, awareness, and then, confusion. Then,
Must be the right order.
Yes, it must be the right, yes, it has to be the right order. Talk to both.
so, attention,
And set the timer.
attention, interest, decision,
10 seconds.
after decision, action,
Okay, you did finish in 10 seconds, but unfortunately, you're incorrect. Who's next? Avoid?
first.
You can come up there. Well, you want to avoid? First. Anyone? Either was close. There's one good plan, not change, but. Whatever it's like, is it, are we, it's interest? That is.
Those of you that want, try to post a picture of yourself online with it on @shop just so it's free.
So, as you know, we would have wanted to do a lot of things in session, but of course, we had some technical difficulties, etc. But nevertheless, we at least want to attend these two things. Shop yourself, this is essentially for where we generate funds and we try to sell the membership that are relevant to the market. So please check out our website and alright, so pretty much the two things that you guys got is most part we have the Telegram most part and also Tiny version as well. We do have quite a lot of merch that we're selling via the community post. Any of you are going to start a business, want to sell something online, you want our platform like e-commerce platform similar to Amazon, tailored to Jamaica, where a lot of Jamaica and Caribbean a lot of local payment gateway as well as local building services. So of course, any budget that we have, we can put them on the shop. Yes, so just post and please for example, what he's checking out is some fancy gold watches. So there's gold watches on there. I don't know. Most so no, I think most
It's not. Some people that it's not.
so pretty much this is it.
Yeah.
Most part that we can put on here